It's both double-sided, it's the front and the back. There are many standards on it. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, and 33. Look at your notes. You have corresponding standards in your notes. The reason why I label your notes so is so that you could make sure you can match up the standards. You know what to study. I don't need to announce it in class. Everything that we've done so far on rational expressions. 3 weeks ago, we started with simplifying rational expressions. Now, we're finally wrapping up with adding and subtracting and solving. Want to point out one more thing. Look at the number on the board. I will write that down somewhere. That is from last Wednesday. Week number 30, Wednesday, point 3. On Wednesday last week, we did some stuff with painkillers and the concentration in your bloodstream. Alright? Some medical stuff. Problems 1 and 2. I would look over if you haven't, if you finished it, or complete it if you haven't done it. Because 30.3, I will ask a question about on the quiz. So that's step number 2. Not only should you be looking at your mock quiz, but also 30.3 in preparation for Friday.
LCM. On the test, I won't say the problem what was stating on the LCM. Step number 2. Perfect. Step number 3. What's that? What's that one? Right? Numerator and the denominator only if they're being multiplied. If you have addition, then you can't cross out. That's the cross out. Numerators and denominators are the same. Cross out numerators and denominators. Yeah. Fourth step, solution. Fourth step. Now.
Write down these problems. I want to point out one thing. Because we're working with rational expressions, which are essentially fractions, if you see a problem like this, make it a little bit easier on your eyes. Instead of a plus 1, you can write down plus 1 divided by 1. That way you're working with fractions throughout the whole problem, rather than some whole numbers and then some fractions. So that right now is, because the internet kind of slow today, I'm just going to write on the board, alright? Also, just for your information, I will not be doing the problem, the LCM, on the space right here because there's not enough. I'll be doing it over here. But let's go ahead and find the lowest common multiple for the very first one. So I'm going to circle all of my denominators. Let's find the LCM. Remember, LCM, keep yourself organized. Step number 1 is find LCM. Keep yourself organized and make the tubes. First one, x. Can't make it any more simple. X is just by itself. Those are the only factors. For 5x, go ahead, Dorian. 5 times. Yep, you got it. 5 times x. And then for 1, you can't make that any more simple. It's just 1 times 1. But whenever you multiply something by 1, it stays the same, right? So, like 1s. Like we've always done with 1s. Just ignore them. They don't do anything. Unless you're adding numbers. Draw your line. Usually we have 3 lines, right, for the LCM. In this case, we only have 2. Because I said, ignore that 1. Don't worry about it. Let's drop these over down the line. 5 times x. So your answer, LCM, 5x. By the way, why is it not 5x squared? You have 2 x's. Because when you cross the line, can you incorporate that? When you cross the line, you want to try that again? When you cross the line, what do you do with the x's above here? They're lined up. You only need to write 1 down. So you don't need to write all of it down. So you only have 1 x, right?
Okay, in other words, this is what Mr. Yin is trying to say. This is your problem right here that we're now working on in the video. Remember this? This was originally just a 1 up top, and he made it a fraction by putting a 1 underneath. What we're trying to do now is find the lowest common denominator. The lowest common denominator. To do this, he's lined up how many x's there are, how many 5x's there are, and he's ignoring the 1. Basically, it's 5x. That's all we say. So your lowest common denominator is 5x when you set it up this way. What he's trying to also say, it doesn't matter if there are multiple amount of x's, they all go in the same column. Meaning there's only one of them. There's always just one of those x's. All right. That's basically it. Here.
Another x down, but that's not what's happening in this problem. It's just 5x. Step number 2. I need someone to read this for me, actually. Someone read to me step number 2 from the warm-up.
Multiply the numerator with the least common multiple.
Okay, 5x times 2. Who's got it?
10x.
Thank you, 10x. 5 times 2 is 10. X is there as well because of the 5x. The second part.
Ain't the denominator x?
Denominator, yeah, can you say to the class here, does the denominator change or does it stay the same?
Stay the same.
Yeah, that's
Nice. Denominator always stays the same. So I don't need to worry about the denominator, I only need to multiply the numerators. So it's an x right there, it's an x right here. Equals. Someone else, 9 times 5x.
25.
Nice. And finally, 1 times 5x, that's a giveaway. 5x doesn't change. Still, denominator doesn't change. You see why I made it into 1 divided by 1? That way we can still do step number 2, just like we've been doing it.
Okay, so quickly again, we already have our lowest common denominator, or multiple, that's 5x. Now what Mr. Yin wants us to do is multiply this into the numerators. These are your numerators. These are your denominators down here. Okay, numerators, denominators. He wants us to multiply this into our numerators. 5 times 2. 10. And it's 5 times 2x, so it's 10x. 5x times 9. There's an equal sign, so we'll bring the equal sign down. 45x plus, bring down the plus, 5x times 1, 5x. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Who's got step number 3? Can you read out loud to the class to give us a reminder? Step number 3. Try again. Class, make sure we're listening to Andrea. Cross out, that's the key word. Let's go ahead and cross out. I'm going to use a red marker for this. So, 10 equals 45 divided by 5. 9. And then 5x divided by 1. Anything divided by 1 is the same thing.
Okay, real quick, again, we'll go over it one more time again. We're going to cross out all common numerators and denominators. So this is what we have for our numerator, because we multiplied these in 5x, 2x, 10x. These are our denominators. Now we need to cross out all the common ones. Alright, so that leaves us just 1x. Now that we've crossed this out, there's something else. There's another step. That was 5 divided by 45. And that equals what? 5 divided by 45 equals 9. So this is what you have. 10. This is a 1, which means that everything is usually under 1. You see, that's what we did even here. 1 is always over 1. Any number is always over 1. So we don't have to worry about this 1 here. You just move this down. And that makes it easier. I guess that's why you did it this way.
Alright, next one. Now we're finally on step number 4, which you said earlier. Solve for x. Cool. First step for solving for x. Darren, you got it? How do I get x by itself? Whatever is furthest away. Yeah. This is a positive 9. How do you get rid of the positive? Thank you. 10 minus 9. 1. 5x. Come on, stay focused. I know it's tempting. So, divide by 5. X equals 1/5. Please, on the test, don't write 0.2 for me. I do not want the decimal. I want the fraction. The box run your answer.
Okay, finally, let's finish up this problem. We want to solve for x. We went over it already, but those who didn't get it, that's what you need to do. Solve for x, you need to get x by itself. You need to get x by itself. So the first thing you need to do is move over your solid numbers without the x, because it's just easier. So you got -9. Move over and that takes out the -9, and then, or the 9. You put the -9 over here, which makes this a 1. I just put the 1 over here because I'm running out of space. No, I can't create more space. So that's 1. So I'm going to move everything over. We don't have the 9 anymore. This becomes a 1. We have the equal sign. We still have the 5x. To get x by itself, opposite operations, just like this one. This was a +9, -9, -9. A 5 times x, that's what this means, 5 times x. So we have to do opposite operations, so we'll do 5x divided by 5. That crosses out. We have x equals 5. Okay? Oh, I'm sorry. X equals 1/5, or 1/5. equals 1/5. What he doesn't want you to do is divide after this. Do not divide this number. He wants the fraction. Once the fraction, make sure you do not go any further than that. He wants the fraction. Okay? Wants the fraction. Wants the fraction. This. He wants this.